John Carter? Okay, there's not a lot known about John Carter, except that he was a young African-American man. He was a panel farmer escapee, and at the time, before he died, he was about 38 years old. And a panel farm escapee is basically, a panel farm itself is like it's kind of like a slavery where they would make people do their work, but it isn't exactly slavery. And he was one of the escapees from that. What happened was that he was accused of assaulting a white woman and her daughter, and it's presumed that he actually did do that. There was no trial at all, and he was hung, shot, drove around on the back of a car, and they tore off his limbs and directed traffic with it. Approximately 5,000, and they drove his body into an all-black neighborhood, and they used approximately 5,000 white people rioted in this entire area. And then when and where it happened, it was in Little Rock, Arkansas. It was May 4th, 1927. This is when the actual riot occurred. And something important about this is that 3 months before the actual riot occurred, there was a rape of a 12-year-old white girl by an African-American man. So the tension between white and African-American people was really strong, and it's kind of the tipping point which allowed people like, wow, all these black people are crazy. Let's just go and riot in their area. Okay, it's zoomed out, so you can zoom into why did it happen. Okay, well, I've already kind of explained why it happened. So the tension between whites and blacks was increasing, and the assault committed by Carter was the tipping point. And they basically unleashed their anger on the entire black community, on Carter and on Carter's dead body. So he was already hung and he was dead. They shot him, they drove him around the back of a car, and they tore off his limbs. And it's kind of why the riot occurred. So it was a big deal. Why is it significant? It shows like how one man's actions can affect the entire community. And it started from a long path of hatred for African Americans. And there's also Little Rock 9, and this is kind of like the big point that like started all this hatred for African Americans. And then there's a picture in the corner. Oh, you can go back a slide. There's a picture in the corner, because there's not a lot of evidence or video or, well, not video, pictures about it. And this is like one of the few, and that's him being hung. Now you can go to the next. Okay, so here's some To Kill a Mockingbird connections. Tom Robinson was also committed of rape. He was convicted of rape. And both of these happened in the South, in the area where whites already didn't like black men. And John Carter was shot and rioted against, and in To Kill a Mockingbird, I believe there was a scene where an African-American boy was shot in front of the Bradley place. And then you can go down to the legacy. There's not a little positive that came out of this riot, but it's kind of an event that sparked the segregation of African-Americans in Arkansas. And it was kept hidden for a long time. I guess you could say that white people were embarrassed that this happened and they didn't want the public to know about it. And here are the citations. And if you zoom out, press the next, you can see like it's a noose and then there's a gun. And the citations were a bullet.
Yeah.
Questions?
Did you make that template yourself?
Yeah, I did.
What do you mean? How was it significant?
Well, it was kind of like the tipping point, and because the tensions between African Americans and white people were so strong, the riot, it was like the breaking point, if you want to say, kind of like that. Good.
Do you think that this event influenced the Little Rock 9?
Well, I think it influenced African Americans to start hating on white people because of this riot.
You said he was accused of assaulting a white woman and her daughter, but so he admitted that it was true?
No, he never got a trial. He never got a fair trial. And so but we believe that he actually did commit murder. Okay. Any other questions?
Do you know why he committed the murder?
No. There's not a lot known about it.